running just a little. Yeah, I've just come down the local. And on my Kōtare I'm running the J hook. Yeah, we'll chuck him in the bin. Hooked up again, guys. As it gets a little bit later in the evening, haven't snagged up as yet. A little bit nicer fish there. Hooked up again, guys. As you can see, it's dark. Welcome to Real Kiwi Fishing. Hooked up. Just down the bay, having a flick. Just before dark. Thought I'd come down. Got a high tide. Nice high tide at around 6 o'clock. So I thought, hey, let's get down there and get a bait wet. Nice little snap. There you go. It's a nice little fella. He's probably about 36, 37. I'll chuck him in the bin. Just want a couple for dinner. But yeah, I've just come down the local. Still in alert level 4. And I thought, hey, got a high tide. Just on dark, got to come and give it a shot. So yeah, it's a nice little fella for off the rocks. Just running a little ball sinker. It's probably about a 2 ounce actually. Just want to get a bit of distance. It is quite snaggy out in front sometimes, but on the high tide sometimes you can get away with it. Just got to have a play around till you figure it out. But yeah, we'll chuck him in the bin for dinner. There you go. Just a little fella, but he's well takeable. He's about 36, 37. First one for the bin. So I'm on my tournament concept, running just a little dropper rig. Nothing too big, too long, because it is quite snaggy out in front. Just running a little 2 ounce. It's giving me a little bit more distance. So sometimes once you suss out your area, you can actually get away with little things like that. If I had a real big heavy sinker, probably a longer trace, probably get caught up a little bit more. Just using a bit of squid. And even though the squid stays on a little bit better, I'm still wrapping on the cotton. Just because there is a few little pickers around the old bits of foul that I'm fishing. Just helps to keep that on a bit better. I'm running a recurve on this rig again. That's pretty much it. Get that one out. I'm getting a good sort of maybe 60 meters on that, which is plenty of distance for where I'm fishing. As it gets a little bit later in the evening, the fish will come right up and close. It's all foul out in front of me. Just running a little bit of a tight drag just because of that recurve. Don't want it too slack, otherwise it won't sort of hook into the fish. And on my Kōtare I'm running the J hook again, so I'll chuck another bait out on that. Hooked up again, guys. Another snap. Feels a little bit better, this one. Definitely a keepy if I can get him in. Quite nicer fish. There you go. A little bit nicer fish there. Still got that nice swell rolling, stirring it up. Haven't snagged up as yet on my little dropper, which is good. Like I was saying, once you get to learn your spots, you can get away with little rigs like that. Sometimes you'll get caught up. I got a couple of nice little fish for the bin anyway. Tomorrow's dinner. Got quite dirty water in close, but where I'm casting is quite clear, not crystal clear, but clearer than what's in close. But yeah, those fish will just be mooching around this area. Everything's getting stirred up, crabs getting ripped off the rocks and all sorts, and fish love that. A little nibble, this one straight away. It's a good thing to do is when you're fishing those two rods, have one with that recurve hook. You can have both obviously, but I like to strike on the fish. But you can just, basically I can just leave this rod alone and hopefully the fish hooks up itself. Up again, guys, just on that little dropper, just working a treat, just a little fella, just starting to get dark, prime time, just hoping for a big moocher to come by. But to be honest, this is my fourth fish. It's been a lot of fun, even though there's a couple of tiny ones in there. Get him back in. Just keep an eye on him, make sure he doesn't come back up in those surges. Nah, he's gone. Back home, get another bait out. Might go back to my pillies. I only had a couple left and I thought I'd wait till a little bit later in the evening to fall back. Started with pilly, quite like starting with pilly, just to get that oily kind of smell in the water where I'm fishing. But the old squid's been doing quite well. stays on a little bit longer for me. Yeah, just half pulleys. Get it out there. At prime time, bite time. Getting some pretty good distance on this because I'm running braid. Was running mono there for a while, but I fell back to my braid. I quite like using my braid, even in around the rocks and stuff. If I'm in real rocky, reefy area, I'll go to mono. This is just sort of low lying foul. So it's not too bad on the braid. Wind up that kōtare and change the bait. Get a pulley out in that one. Sometimes what happens is you'll get a real good bite time coming up till dark, sort of around this time, and then those bites will die away and you'll pretty much get nothing for a while, sometimes up to an hour, can be. Oh yeah, hooked up again, guys. Oh, he's gone. Bugger. It was on that recurve. Might be back. Might have come back for it. Yeah, sometimes those bites can just really die away. Get a real nice bite time up until dark and then die away and then come back on. Might wind this up and get it back out there. That was a bit of a bummer. But not a problem, we'll get another bait out. Might chuck another squid on this one actually. Quite like using squid on that the recurves. You can wrap it right around that hook. If I don't get anything decent on the squid, I'll go back to the pulley. But yeah, you can wrap that bait right around that hook nicely. Hooked up again, guys. As you can see, it's dark. Fish are still biting at the moment, just another little fella. This little rig's working a treat for me. Got the recurve hook right in the corner of the mouth. We'll get him back in the water. Only got a couple of pulleys left, so might as well chuck on a whole pulley. Finish the night off. Never know, big moocher might be still mooching there before he has to get pushed off the flats here. We'll give that a flick out. Up again, guys. It's another little snap. Not too sure if he's big enough for us. Oh yeah, another one for the bin. There you go. It's probably about 35, just on 35 I'd say. So yeah, 3 for the bin. Not too bad. Okay guys, what I'm going to do is call it a night. Had a pretty cool evening down the local. Caught a couple of snaps to take home for dinner tomorrow. But what I'm going to do in the next couple of days is head down to one of the beaches. We're still in alert 4, so we can still fish off the beaches, but I'm going to move down to one of the other beaches and have a cast in the evening on the dead low tide. So we want that low tide a little bit later in the day. So in a couple of days I'll head down there and have a bit of a surf cast, get you guys back out. Until then, tight lines.